Hey everybody, Fossilized here. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Had some time off, maybe. Practiced your social distancing. Um, Not everybody was off because Gamepires, the producers of Scum, put out a patch on Saturday, 28 March, and so apparently they were working. So I want to go ahead and jump into that patch and talk a little bit about kind of some of the new stuff going along in the game right now. Did want to touch on this a little bit at first, though, is they had announced that Croatia had been hit by the strongest earthquake in like 140 years. So the offices of Gamepires were a little tossed around, things in kind of a disarray. They did say that people weren't hurt, even though a lot of the infrastructure and people's houses had sustained some damage. So I want to start off by saying our hearts go out to the people in Croatia with their earthquake on top of all this other stuff going on. And we wish them a quick recovery out of this little disaster that they had. So hang in there, guys, and best wishes to you. Jumping on into the game now. I guess the first thing I want to touch on is they have added stacking for some other items, and this works just like it does for ammunition. You take a chunk of ammunition and you put it on another chunk of ammunition to join it, and then the number of items in that stack increase. But right now it's kind of a first pass on non-ammo type things. I believe it's restricted to bolts, nails, and money right now. And as well as that, it's only for your backpack and vicinity. Right now it doesn't work in chests. So hopefully that'll keep rolling out. We'll have the ability to stack more items in our inventory, which makes things really good. And that may become even more important because one of the other things they announced was this inventory damage, where when you're carrying your backpacks and belt pouches and clothing and things like that, as they lose durability, they're going to start having item or areas within their inventory space will have these little red lines going through them. And any item that you have that's in one of those cells that has the red lines through it is going to take additional damage. Its durability is going to go down quicker than the other stuff that would be in your pack. So you don't really want to leave things there. In addition, if you take that pack takes damage, from being shot or puppets or what have you, then the items that are in that little red striped area are going to take additional damage as well, over and above what anything else would be taking. So you really don't want any items in that red hatched area if you can help it. You can take things out of that red hatched area and put them elsewhere, but you can't put items into that red hatched area. So really, in essence, what this means is as your packs and your clothing and things durability goes down, so does their ability to carry stuff. So you're going to have to spend a lot more time trying to keep those things repaired or replaced, and that takes the sewing kits. And as long as we're on the subject of sewing kits that are somewhat hard to come by at times, they have added the ability to craft an improvised sewing kit, which is really just a spool of thread and a needle. And it's in your crafting menu. You can create those, and they work the same way as a sewing kit does, with the exception they only have 15 charges as opposed to the, I think, 30 that a sewing kit does. So that's kind of a nice deal because the sewing kits are kind of hard to come by at times. There's some items in the demolition side. I guess first I'm going to touch on the part about the UI marker for place traps. So if you put down your traps, you're down on the ground, hiding in a bush or something, you can use your focus mode, and it'll show a little icon above where that trap is. I will point out though that doesn't work on explosives that are not armed. So if you plant a mine and then don't arm it, it is not going to show up with your little UI marker. So you may lose that thing. So just be aware of that. In addition, when you do go out and find other people's bombs and such, mines, their demolition items, now instead of just clicking a disarm type thing, there's going to be a little mini game in there to do that, kind of like the lock picking is, where it goes off to a new screen and you have a certain amount of time to wiggle the lock picks. This is similar, and the picture of this is right up here too. So there are going to be 3 types of LEDs on this, and depending on your skills in demolition is going to be the number of certain color LEDs. The green LEDs, when you cut the wires associated with them, it diffuses the bomb. When you cut a red LED wire, it detonates the bomb in your face, and you're in all likelihood going to die. So also, the time you have to actually do this defusing is limited. If you have no skill in demolition and you try to defuse a bomb, then it's only going to give you 4 seconds to do this. If you have like max level of demolition, it's going to give you 6 seconds. Again, not a lot of time, and you cut that wrong wire and it's over. The thing I don't know is when your time runs out, if that just kicks you out of the mini game and you have to start over, or does it actually detonate the bomb? And that's something that would be important to know, and I'm sorry I don't have that. I have not run into anybody's explosives, and you can't really do that on single player. So there's that, and yeah, pretty interesting thing actually. So they've also added a like the paper surgical mask. I don't know that it really does anything for you in game, but it's kind of a nod to the coronavirus, so it's out there if you want it. They've done some working on the audio. They fixed an issue with search sounds alerting sentries and puppets at very long ranges, and so that's been tweaked a bit, so maybe they won't hear you from across the map. And I don't understand what this one means, so I'm just going to read it as it says. It says added sound on event border, one while static, and distinctive one while border is moving. I don't know what that means, but there you are. If somebody else has some better information on that, please let me know. They reduced the loudness of John Dick, the event announcer in Scum. So as much as we all love John Dick, it'll be nice to not have him screaming at us quite so hard in those events. So a nice change there. They also tweaked outdoor distant reverb for better approximation of sound source distance, and that's a good thing. Anything that adds to that immersion and ability to figure out where things are in that game or is a good thing. They reworked the way players receive the initial world state. Again, not totally sure what that is. The example they gave was that like sometimes you'll have players running together. Somebody will see a door that's closed. The other person will see that same door is open. So hopefully that straightens up some of that. They redesigned the level up notifications. They removed the text message in the bottom left corner. So I guess that's a good thing. I don't know that it really bothers me either way. Anyone that's run into a suicide puppet will appreciate this next part, and that is they have lowered the maximum hit point value on suicide puppets. They've reduced the range of the explosion, as well as the minimum damage and the base damage that it does. So those things will be a little bit more survivable now. Don't know if you've run into one yet. They're absolutely hideous. So this is just part of that tweaking process going on. So there you go. Arrow tips now have 6 uses instead of 5. They've reduced the weight of compasses, so they're not really made out of lead anymore, like apparently they felt like they were at one time. Hospital clothes have the same inventory size as inmate clothes now. So there's that. And anybody that's been hiding in a bush and been visited by the drones that totally give away your position or light you up at night, anything annoying like that, they only come around half as often now. So that should make life a little bit nicer. And then they increased the weight load of work and military clothing, so you can actually carry some heavier items in there. As far as the bugs, I'm not going to go down the list on that one. But I will have it up here in the window, and you can read it at your leisure or pause the video, whatever you'd like to do. The one I will call out, though, is they fixed the size of some of the body parts of animals and humans that you may have in your inventory, like a leg, shank, whatever. And if you had them in your chest, even after the resize, you may find it that they overlap now into some other items. And we've seen this before when they were redoing the inventory. Basically just pull them out of your inventory, put them back in, the size will be corrected, and everything's good. I think that's about it. There's the second episode of the Scum Cast is up. I'll leave a link for that down below, as well as a link for these patch notes, and you can look them up yourself if you'd like. The actual Scumcast is a pretty neat little round table that they have with developers and some of our noteworthy gamers. So it's worth checking out if you'd like. Other than that, I think that's about it for the day. That's all I have. I'm looking forward to getting in there and trying that some. So I wish the rest of you to have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on when you're watching this, and happy scumming. I'll see you out there in the world.